today we'll be looking at a topic that we've been talking on for the past 3-4 weeks now. We've been looking at how AI can support educators in the classroom. We started by understanding the different types of AI that we have, and we also looked at some of the benefit and why teachers should begin to embrace AI in the classroom. We talked about some of the benefit, and we talked about some of the downs and ups. We talked about different kinds of AIs, and then we also make recommendations of the kinds of AI that teachers should use. We talked about the fact that we have 2 types of AI, that we have specific purpose AI, and then we have general purpose AI. We explained that specific purpose AI are basically designed for specific purposes, for specific use case, and then why the general purpose AI are the one that everyone can basically use. And then we gave some examples. We said that ChatGPT, Google Bard, and we have that of Microsoft, that's Copilot, and all of these other AIs, that they are general purpose AI. And then we talked about AI Teacha as one of the specific purpose AI that is basically designed for specific use case. And then we explained that for AI Teacha, the specific use case is for teachers. And then we tried to explain why it is important that we basically use more of specific purpose AI. And of course, we try to explain why that is important as educators, because of course we understand that as educators, it's not just about creating content or generating content. It's about making sure that we have the right content, the right information. For those of us that basically you understand what is going on with AI, we have issues of around AI sometimes not giving you the right information, sometimes being biased, sometimes just churning out information that looks correct, but in the real sense they are not correct, right? So we explain that specific use case AI are basically designed and designed for that specific, whatever it is that you have designed it for. So it basically gives more correct answers than the general purpose AI. So if you want to learn more about that, you can basically look up our YouTube channel and you see the previous videos. And I think it's important that as educators we have this knowledge. It will help us to know how best to communicate with some of these tools. Okay, so today we are going to focus basically on how we can support. Last week we looked at how we can support special needs students that basically have special needs. You have a student in your class, and then that student is basically struggling, and then you are not very certain on how best you can basically help that student. We saw how beautiful AI Teacha was able to come up with plan on how you can help any particular student in your class. You have a student that is struggling or on any subject matter, or a student that every other student, they're already writing or they're already reading, and then you have a student in your class that has not yet started reading, and then you're not very sure on what to do. You are not trained as a special needs educator. You don't have that kind of training, but you find that kind of student in your class. Sometimes some teachers don't even know what is going on. They don't even know that the student is a special needs student, that the student needs extra support. So AI Teacha will help you diagnose what that issue is, and then also help you, give you a step-by-step approach on how you can help that student. We looked at that last week. We believe that every teacher should have the right tool, and of course should have an idea of how stuff like this can basically help them in the classroom. So if you missed last week's class, please take your time to just watch. I think it's about 23 minutes. It was very short and straight to the point. We took a step, did it and show us how we can basically use that AI Teacha to solve that problem. So let's go straight to today. Today we are going to be looking at how we are going to basically use how we can support students that have other needs of student that basically seems to understand more of that basically learn in the auditory way. Students that prefer learning students that learn best when they hear things playing. They tend to understand it better when they are listening to whatever it is, right? And we are going to basically look at different use cases, from how you can transcribe your notebook or textbook or whatever it is to an audio, how you can create amazing stories that are read aloud for your students to, instead of them listening to your voice, you can just be creative one day in your class, create an audio and then play it out to them. They listen to the stories, how you can even create, poems, read aloud poems for your students and all of those kind of things, right? So we are going to look at all of those use cases and see how this will benefit you as a teacher in the classroom. Okay, so let's move straight into it. I'm going to share my screen. I believe my screen is already shared. So if you're not seeing my screen, please, you can just drop a chat in the box and I'm going to, but I want to believe you all can see it. Again, if there are any questions or whatever it is, we'll be taking that after the class. Apologies for starting a bit late. I see someone is saying we started by after 12. Apologies for that, just due to network issues. We're really sorry about that. I'm sure from next week that won't happen again. So, okay, so let's quickly just log in to AI Teacher. So if you don't have an account here yet, please go sign up. It is totally free. Everything that is on AI Teacher right now is free. For those that were in the class last week, I mentioned that we are going to be launching AI Teacher 2.0 very soon. I assure you it's going to be massive. It's going to be, super amazing. What we are trying to achieve, what we are trying to do is to see how we can help you as educators put the right tools in your hands so that you are not, anything you want to do, anything you are looking for, whatever it is you want to do, you have an assistant, an AI assistant in your pocket to just pull out, and then you pam, 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 and then in seconds, you have what it is that you need in the classroom, right? From generating beautiful images to explain difficult concepts, to generating your lesson plans, curriculums, even notebooks, right? You want to generate, content for a particular topic that you want to share with your students in the classroom, and so on and so forth. So many things that, so we are hopefully, next coming week, we don't want to put a time to it, but very soon we'll be launching the 2.0. Just watch out for it. And I'm sure we are going to first see it in this kind of Saturday class. Okay. So let's go straight to sound, text to audio, text to speech. Now, this, I'll also say that if you're trying to get something like this, okay, on, let's say an enterprise version, you'll be spending so much. Like I rightly said, I think in the last class we tried to mention the fact that sometimes you have to pay as much as $5, $20, $15. Canva now, to get a text converted to audio for you in Canva, you have to have the premium account on Canva, which is I think about $10 now or $20. I can't remember now. So so some of these things you can get here totally for free. You can create any audio, from on this platform, and it helps. It's basically amazing because these are things that you ordinarily do, pay, so much to get done. Okay, so let's quickly look at that. So it's very simple. All you need to do is probably you have your story, or you have the textbook that you want to, convert to audio, or you have a particular thing that you want to explain to your student. All you need to do is to copy the text and bring it in here. So let me get my own text and bring it in here. Let me copy my text. Just 1 minute. Okay, so I'm going to copy my text. Copying my text now, and then okay, so I'm done here, and then copy, and then I paste. All you just need to do is paste it, depending on whatever it is that you want to do. Now, I think I've been able to explain different use case, right? You can create, let's say, stories and all of that. We are going to basically try our hands on so many things on this. So let's just try this first one, and then you can choose between a male or a female voice, right? In the future, we are going to give you more options on the kind of voice you want to use. In the future, we're also going to give you the opportunity to be able to, train the voice to sound like your own voice. We are going to also be doing that. Also, of course, also in the future, we are going to be able to give you the option to choose whether you want to use an American accent or British accent, or Nigerian accent or Pidgin English and all of that. In the future, we are also, we are going to be able to do all of that. So let's quickly click on, I'm going to use male voice, right? And then click on generate. So wait for AI Teacher to do its magic. Beautiful. So we now have the file generated 1 minute 34 seconds. We are going to download that. Let me see. Can you hear the audio? Is anybody hearing? Let me go back to my, please, if you can hear, please just drop in the box that you can hear. Can we hear the audio? Okay. The fact that we didn't say anything, does that mean that we can basically hear what the reading out of the text that we just generated audio with? I would like someone to quickly reply if you can hear. You don't need to unmute, just type in the box. You won't be able to unmute, you won't be able to speak except I give you that. So just go ahead and type in the box if you can hear. Okay, let me do like this. I'm going to share the downloaded version. I believe that since I'm not getting any feedback, if we can basically hear. Oh, okay, let me stop sharing and add the audio. Then share that properly. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to play that now.
AI Teacha tackles the problem of educational inequity by promoting personalized learning for all students. Here's a breakdown of the challenges it addresses. Traditional, one-size-fits-all teaching. This approach fails to cater to diverse learning styles and student needs, leading to disengagement and unequal learning outcomes. Limited teacher resources. Large class sizes and heavy workloads can hinder teachers' ability to provide individualized attention. Ineffective assessments. Traditional methods may not accurately assess student understanding, making it difficult to personalize instruction. Inaccessible learning tools. Resource-constrained schools often lack access to effective personalized learning tools. AI Teacha addresses these issues by tailoring learning to individual needs. The platform adapts content and activities to different learning styles, ensuring all students can engage with the material effectively. Empowering teachers with automation. AI Teacha automates tasks like lesson planning and assessments, freeing up teachers' time for personalized instruction and student support. Providing data-driven insights, the platform provides educators with data on student progress, allowing them to identify areas where students need extra support and adjust their teaching strategies accordingly. Making personalized learning accessible. AI Teacha's web-based platform and flexible pricing model aim to make personalized learning tools available to all schools, regardless of their resources.
Okay, so that was the one I just created now, right? And that's now one of the things that you notice about this audio is that every punctuation mark, every full stop, every, it basically sounds like a human being reading it out. This is like 99.9% accurate when it comes to all of the pronunciation, the apostrophes, the commas, the full stops, and everything in between. That's why I said you can basically use this for storytelling, right? You want to create storytelling. Before now, we don't basically, we usually run from making use of AI audios because they don't really understand. An AI audio will just be reading out things. It will not take cognizance of the punctuation marks, right? And of course, sometimes even the pronunciation, it doesn't really take into cognizance all of those. So, but with all of the new development, if you put AI or generated audio and the normal audio generated by a human being, or so it will be very difficult to be able to differentiate between the two because AI can now understand pronunciation, understand how to pronounce a particular word, understand when to pause, when to start, and all of that. So let's create a story now, right? Let's create a story and see how it's going to sound like. Now, this story will basically be what you share, excuse me, with your students. So let's say our use cases. I want to, create a short story to for my student to listen to before my class, right? So I'm going to use a female voice this time, and I'm going to click on generate. So let's see how this is going to look like. Now, there are several use cases. You as a teacher, just sit down and think about it. One of the use cases I'm seeing in my head is, as a teacher, probably in the morning when your students come to school, or maybe in the assembly when they come to school, instead of you having to read out, like their names, the way you usually read it, right? You can create a little, text like their name with, a little bit of word of encouragement, like, that you just want to share with them in the morning, right? You can basically do that. Okay. You create their name with another content, or you use these to, just being creative in your class instead of the normal, they just come and then what they are hearing is a sound from a speaker calling their name, talking about them, or calling their name and then waiting for them to answer their name, or a read aloud. Normally you as a teacher, you are the one that usually do the read aloud, or you want to get to talk about some stuff, some things. You are the one that would talk about it. You can create probably motivational speeches, and instead of you being the one to talk about it, right, you play it, right? And when you play it, you can, one of the beautiful things here is that you can personalize the audio by putting their names. The AI is reading and then talking about Adewale, you have been so exceptional in the class. Now that makes any student wild, because what they are hearing is that, they will feel that the teacher has done so much work just to impress them. So there's so many use cases. As a teacher, this helps you to be creative in your class, and I tell you to catch your students' attention. It will grab them. They will be super excited hearing somebody other than them. And again, with the way it sounds foreign. It sounds like, this is basically an American style, or is that the word now, right? So it will look as if there's one white man somewhere speaking to them. You are the one that know that you just generated the content and brought it to AI Teacher to create the audio, and then you're playing it, right? So you can go as much as creating this audio, now creating beautiful chorusal video for your students, while the video is flying in, the picture is flying in, the word is reading, just when now we are getting to the end of the term, you can just do stuff like this to encourage your students, for towards next term. So it's super. And again, I think I've mentioned several use cases. Remember, the main essence why we put this was to support students that basically learn, that are basically auditory learners, right? So you have your textbook, or you have a content you want to create into audio for them to learn, probably part of speech. You want them to listen to it. Okay, you can even use this to create all of your lessons into audio, so that you just share it with your students so that they can listen to it when they're at home, right? You can just bring all of your lessons, copy it and paste it there, choose a voice type, and then it creates the audio, right? So you can do that. There are so many other use cases. Say, let's say you are a content creator, you can create your audio here and then take it to your content, create a video, and then support that with it. So it is, but again, like I said, the major reason why we added this was to support students that are struggling or that are auditory learners. Students that are auditory learners. So there are so many other use cases that you can get from around there. So let me share the one I just created, the short story I just created, and so that we can see how that basically works, right? Okay. Let me include sounds. Somebody is in the lobby. Let me admit the person. Okay, I think the person is admitted. So, like I said, this is basically, so let's listen to the story that we just created and see how interesting this is.
The Enchanted Library. Once upon a time in the small town of Willow Creek, there was a library unlike any other. This library was ancient, with tall wooden shelves that reached the ceiling and books that seemed to whisper secrets to those who listened closely. The townspeople called it the Enchanted Library. One sunny afternoon, a curious girl named Lily visited the library. Lily loved books and spent hours reading about adventures and far-off lands. She had read almost every book in the children's section and was looking for something new. As she wandered through the aisles, she noticed a narrow staircase she had never seen before. At the top was a small, dusty door. Intrigued, Lily climbed the stairs and pushed the door open. Inside was a tiny room filled with the oldest books she had ever seen. One book, in particular, caught her eye. It was bound in deep blue leather with silver stars on the cover. The title read, "The Book of Mysteries." Lily carefully opened the book and began to read. To her amazement, the words on the pages started to...
Now, so there, like I said, I don't want us to, that's about 3 minutes of our time. So you can, all the stories that you have can now come to life. You can, all the stories that you have already, all those circle time, those things you discuss with your students in circle time, anything you want to do, right? You can basically create an audio that is, properly, that is sound, and your student can basically be able to relate with, right, in AI Teacher. So far so good. We've looked at how this can help you as a teacher. We've talked about some of the use cases, things that you can basically be able to achieve with this text to speech generator. We talked about the fact that you can use it to, you can convert all your notes, all your textbooks, all your lessons, into audio, right, that you share with your students, especially the ones that prefer learning, that are auditory learners. You can also create, customized audios to encourage your students, right? We talked about you creating it as, a means of calling their names, maybe taking attendance, right? Or giving announcements, right? Or doing so many other things with it, right? We've also talked about the fact that you can create this and then, create a carousel video, and then you add to it and put a little bit of sound, just to probably celebrate a student or celebrate whatever it is that you're doing, right? By and large, this tool is now, teachers can have this handy, that if they want to be creative in the classroom, they want to go, above the usual, right? They want to do something unique. You want to do something unique in your class than normal, right? You can basically use this tool. If I'm a student, I walk into the class, in the morning, and then I hear, an audio reading out my name and then saying encouraging words about me, this is not coming from my teacher, but something just reading and then calling my name and saying so much about me, and then it does that to all of my students, I'll be super excited. I'll be, you can do it every day, like, create something about a particular student, and then it's crafted in this amazing audio. You put a little bit of sound, you can take it to CapCut or wherever you download it, take it to CapCut, and then you put a little bit of sound, and then you play it to your student. Right? So many, use cases. Now I'm talking about that. I'm talking from my angle as a teacher, because when I was a teacher, I usually love to be very creative in the classroom, just come up with something new, than the normal, than the usual. So let's try this out. Let's see how we can support us. Let's see how we can help more students, especially the ones that are struggling, especially the ones that can be encouraged in our class when they see, something extra that you are doing. So let's see how we can basically use these for that. So at this point, I'll see if there's any question. I'm going to quickly take the question, and then we move to other things. So if you have any question, you can just raise your hand. I'm going to hand over the mic to you, and then you can ask your question while I quickly, if there are any questions from all that we've heard. We've talked about how this can support auditory learners, how we can create audios from this, how we can create, our notebooks. Instead of having to have text notebooks, we can copy all of our content and then put it there and create audio with those textbooks. So a teacher can just decide that, oh, I want to make sure that all of my books are now, in audio form. You can basically do that using AI Teacher. So are there any questions before I just run us through again some of the tools that you can also try out here, right? Any questions? Let me see. Okay, so if there's any question, you can drop it in the chat. But while we look at that, there's also audio to text. So if you have audio that you want to translate to text, right? This is text to audio, right? So you have audio, you now want to translate those audio to text. You also have that here in AI Teacher. You can just click on this and then you upload the audio. You can also do video as well. So if you have video, you want to transcribe the audio, you want to transcribe and get the text out of that video, you can use this audio to text generator, right? So in the next class, we are going to be taking a look at assignment generator, how you can create assignment for your student, and we are going to look at activity generator as well. I believe we're also going to try to see newsletter generator. I think we've not done this. We are going to see how we can create newsletters, for our school. School is going to an end right now. Instead of you having to start writing and editing, some schools you have editory board to edit and all of that. This would craft a perfectly written newsletter for you in plain and simple English, right? So it's going to do that for you. So I'm going to next week we are going to basically look at how these can support schools and teachers as well. At this point, I don't know if there's any question. If there's none, is there any question? Okay, no, there's no question. Yes, someone is asking which app is this? It's called AI Teacher. AI Teacher is basically an app that is designed for teachers to use.